All right. Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Yeah, welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Minneapolis. It's great to see everybody here today. And then if anybody's joining us online, we're glad to have you as well. It's just one of those things, like you go through winter and you go through a cold spring and you just say, I can't wait till we get warm weather. And boy, the universe has delivered. It's been a good hot summer so far, and when you start looking forward to rain, it's moving in the right direction. So thanks for everybody coming here. I'm Dennis Bird. I'm a practitioner here at CSO Minneapolis, and I'm glad to be here today. We've got a great service, and I'm just grateful that everybody's here, both online and in person. Our statement of truth is there is a power for good in the universe, and you can consciously use it. Our mission is to teach, demonstrate, and empower a positive spiritual approach to living. And I find that when I incorporate that into my life, having that spiritual approach to all of life's challenges, all of life's work that needs to be done, that my day just goes so much better. Now's a good time to check your cell phones, smartwatches, anything that beeps, buzzes, or blurts out, and just so that we don't get any interruptions today. And we're going to start off with the song from Victoria and Carl.
Good morning. Good morning. All right, here's a happy little tune. Carl and I just had a gig last night, and we did this for our gig, so we're happy to be doing it with all of you guys, too. You got an accent, you ain't the positive, elim, and ain't the negative, and latch on to the affirmative. Don't mess with Mr. In-Between. You gotta spread joy up to the maximum and bring gloom down to the minimum, and have faith or pandemonium liable to walk upon the scene to illustrate his last remark. Jonah and the whale, Noah and the ark. What did they do when everything looked so dark? Man, they said we better accentuate the positive and healing, and ain't the negative, and latch on to the affirmative. Don't mess with Mr. In-Between. When everything looks so dark, when they said we better accentuate the positive and elim, and ain't the negative, and latch on to the affirmative. Don't mess with Mr. In-Between. No, don't mess with Mr. In-Between. Don't mess with Mr. In-Between.
Thank you. Now we're ready for our group reading, and that'll either be up on the screen or you've got it in your brochures. Not a brochure, what is that called? A program. Right, brochures, we're trying to sell you something. Well, we kind of are, but... It is up on the screen. And it is up on the screen, great. So let's read together. I'm ready to deepen my conviction in the power and presence for good. I'm ready to apply it in my daily life. I'm ready to receive God's highest blessings. I am ready to live from a higher level of beingness. I'm ready to be a transformative light in the world. And I love that last line, I'm ready to be a transformative light in the world. And when we are living out these principles, we are such a good example to everyone around us, our families, our friends, our neighbors, our community, and our world. And so I think it's, that line always sticks out to me, that we're supposed to take this teaching, live it out, and from our experience, transform it for other individuals. So I'm going to start with the centering prayer. So if everybody would just take a deep breath. And we know this, that we are in the midst of a loving community, powered by an infinite presence of good, of blessing, that flows throughout our experience, bringing about new life, creativity, healing, and grace and peace. I'm grateful for this knowing, and I'm grateful that this time together as CSO Minneapolis, we are blessed as we go through this process together of learning to connect with the divine. And I know that our day is blessed, our lives are blessed, and this time together is blessed. And so it is. I'll have Colleen come up for the lighting the candles of faith. This center is based on the knowledge that there is one great universal presence. And we acknowledge that there are multiple names and paths to this one which unifies us and not divides us. Please join me as we honor the unifying nature of spiritual through all the experiences as we light the flames of faith, acknowledging all peoples and all faiths. We light the candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. And I invite you now to take a moment and light the candle within for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of wholeness, oneness, and mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. Thanks, Colleen. And now we'll have Jeff come up for an inspirational reading.
Good morning. It is 4th of July weekend. And as we looked for a reading for today, we went back to 1953 to Science of Mind magazine. Ernest Holmes wrote a prayer for my country back then. And for some of these who don't know, Reverend Sherry used to work for Science of Mind magazine. So, just to let you know that. No. Oh, you didn't edit this one? Oh. Believing in the divine destiny of the United States of America and in preservation of liberty, security, and self-expression for all, I offer this, my prayer for our country. I know the divine intelligence governs the destiny of the United States of America, directing the thought and the activity of all who guide its affairs. I know that success, prosperity, and happiness are the gifts of freedom and are the divine heritage of everyone in this country. I know that success, prosperity, and happiness are now operating in the affairs of every individual in this country. I know that the divine guidance enlightens the collective mind of people of the country, causing it to know that economic security may come to all without the loss of either personal freedom or individual expression. I know that no one can believe or be led to believe that freedom must be surrendered in order to secure economic security for all. The all-knowing mind of God contains the answer to every problem which confronts the country. I know that every leader in this country is now directed by the all-knowing mind and has the knowledge of a complete solution to every problem. Each is compelled to act upon this knowledge, and to that end, the abundance, security, and peace shall come to all. And I know that the spiritual democracy shall endure, guaranteeing to everyone in this country personal liberty, happiness, and self-expression. So it is.
Yep, and now we have another song by Victoria and Carl, yeah. It's your turn, yep.
I felt like we were about to have a duel. I am the infinite presence. I am the one in all. I am the truth in beauty, the answer to Spirit's call. I am the one within you. I am the one you seek. Within your heart there is a doorway. The arms of love await you with these golden wings. Take flight. I am the infinite presence. I am the one in all. I am the truth in beauty, the answer to Spirit's call. I am the one within you. I am the one you seek. Within your heart there is a doorway. The arms of love await you with these golden wings. Take flight. The arms of love await you with these golden wings. Take flight.
And now it's time for our special message by Reverend Debbie.
Thank you. All right. That song was perfect because that's what we're going to talk about this month. That knowing that the wings are just so supported by those wings of the one. So this teaching, this philosophy, the science of mind, to me is all about learning how to live from the inside out, how to pay as much attention to what's going on inside and address what's going on inside as what's going on outside, because it's the yin and the yang of it all. And when I am able to be in alignment with me, when I'm feeling good on the inside because I'm doing my work on the inside, life out there is so much sweeter, right? And we all know why. We know why, because when we're walking the pathway in divine partnership with our soul, with spirit, when we are on a journey in life and we know we're fully supported and we're joyfully looking forward to what's next, when we recognize and set the intention for our course of life to be in conscious connection, then it's like a perfect summer day. It's just perfect. And we've all had days, maybe weeks, maybe months, some maybe years, where that's been the case, right? That it just seems like it's all unfolding in right and perfect order. And it is always all unfolding in right and perfect order. And if we don't like what that right and perfect order is looking like, then it's time to go back within. It's time to start asking those questions and doing that work at a deeper level so that the outside truly does reflect the inside and we're not sending mixed messages. So this month, we're going to look at that idea of how we're going to remind ourselves of some spiritual tools that we can use from this teaching to focus on the inside and allow it to reflect the outside in that divine way. And so I want to start us off this month with a little bit of a self-assessment. And we're going to do the same assessment the last Sunday of the month because there's 5 Sundays this month. So we've got a lot of time to work on it. And the idea is not about feeling bad about where we are. It's not about feeling great about where we are either, right? It's about just knowing where we are. And then, as a community, setting that intention of moving the needle one more step. Just one more step. So, my business skills came into effect. We've got PowerPoint slides, you guys, so get ready for this one. So here's the first question. The pathway of life. Is it sort of one of struggle? Or are you really knowing that this is a journey you're doing in divine partnership? That consistent experience of joy. 1 to 5. Next slide. That is where you are right now in life, is it unsatisfied? Or are you kind of feeling like, oh my God, just cut me a break now? Or is it full of joy? Is it like, I can't wait to see what happens next because it's just so fun? 1 to 5. And then the final question in your assessment. Are you on a course to nowhere, kind of letting the crowd take you, right? Or are you working in divine harmony? Are you like clear in this moment where you're going? Or if you're not clear, are you at least willing to become clear? 1 to 5. So I suspect we've got some 1s, we've got some 5s. Most of us are somewhere in between. But this is what I know. We are all here to say 5, to be at that place. That we all deserve a 5. We deserve all of that good, all of that harmony. Not only we deserve it, but we have everything we need to get there and to stay there. And that divine spirit, God, whatever you call it, it is just waiting to say yes. Let's bring it on together. Together. That glorious, glorious pathway to that greater expression. That journey that is filled with joyful anticipation, like I can't wait to see what's next. Knowing that sometimes it's not so good, but it's all going to work out okay. And being totally aware that we're consciously creating whatever we're experiencing. How is that for freedom? We have the freedom to consciously choose our experience. And if we're not liking it, we get to consciously choose again and again and again. But for some reason, things stand in our way, right? It's our humanness. But sometimes, at least for me, it's also my spiritualness. You know, it's like my willingness to be supported by the divine instead of trying to fix it, control it, navigate it. Sometimes it's my spiritualness that is saying to me, well, you got some healing work to do first. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm too busy. And then there's also this idea of making time to court the presence, right? Making time for that spiritual work, making time for those meaningful conversations with oneself, with one's loved ones, with taking time for one's spiritual community, taking time to put the soul first. And then probably the one that's the hardest, at least for me, is that idea of staying open. Staying open to, despite appearances, that staying open, it's hard. But the more grounded we are, and the more in partnership we are with that knowing part of us, the easier it becomes. So this month, we're going to use 2 books sort of as our guide to take us through the month. First is McCarthy's book, The Path to Wellness, 7 Spiritual Steps for Financial Abundance. It was published in 2015, and for the record, financial abundance, it's like fill in the blank abundance, right? Because abundance is abundance. But there's nothing wrong with financial abundance. We've all heard that line, right? Money can't buy you happiness, but I'd like to give it a try, right? There's nothing wrong with it. And then the second book is Wallace Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich. That was originally published over 100 years ago. And you can download it free online. And it's a wonderful, wonderful old book full of really current wisdom, which is so fun. So, these books are all about creating a life that we love. These books are all about being in divine harmony with oneself, because it starts with being in harmony with yourself. I was with some wonderful people last night, and it was truly about, we talked about that idea of good company. Being with oneself can be good company, and all the company we need or even desire sometimes. And then these books also talk about the idea of living life by design instead of by happenstance. Yeah, stuff happens, but we get to choose how we act, what steps we take next. We get to design ourselves around some of those boulders that life puts in front of us. To set the stage, Anita Roderick, she started the Body Shop. I don't know if any of you have shopped there or not, but it was, in its time, it was like a brand new concept for cosmetics, right? It was sustainable, it was plant-friendly, it was about, you could get refills, everything was, it had a California flair to it, I'm gonna say, right? And the whole experience was new to a lot of people, because you never really thought about the fact that nothing was killed in the making of your lip balm, right? And she was wildly successful. But then she reached a point where she needed help. She needed help to take it to that next level. And so she ended up getting a business partner that she eventually sold the company out to. And this partnership, it played a critical role because it allowed her to overcome some challenges. It allowed her to continue to go to foreign places and secure the goods that she needed for her product. It allowed her just to extend the product line. It also allowed her to continue to make that significant impact in the cosmetic industry. Her story is a prime example, and I don't know her spiritual path, but her story is a prime example of how, yes, you can do it all alone. We can all do it all alone. But we have limitations. We have challenges. And sometimes embracing a partner just makes it all easier. Sometimes it allows us to fuel the growth. It allows us to take that next big step. And I would like to think that life can be run sort of like a business, that we all already have a partner. And in her book, McCarthy talks about that idea of having a CSO, a Chief Spiritual Officer. We all are the executives of our own life. But we've got more than just that board of directors called family and friends and marketing agencies and all of those, right? We've got more than just that board. We've got a chief spiritual officer. We've got God. We've got spirit. We've got the divine. Just ready to say, yeah, turn me loose, boss. I know my job. I know how to do my job. But the question is, are we ready for that partner to do its job? She writes in her book, I've been blessed to experience wonderful business opportunities and successes, but I didn't do all the work and planning alone. Others helped me, and more importantly, the all-knowing power of the universe helped me, guided me to do what I needed to do, to receive what I wanted to receive exactly when I needed to receive it. All I had to do was trust the direction I received and worked in divine partnership with my spiritual officer. Trust in that universal power. And the more that it matured, the more my success and my prosperity increased. And work, it became easier because I felt that increased peace and happiness and joy. It didn't seem like a burden. Work seemed like a wonderful expression of myself. Isn't that great? We all have those things that we love to do, right? Where we lose track of time when we do it. We get done doing it and we just feel so happy. What if that was how we made our living? What if that is how we went through our life? Seeking those kinds of experiences and sharing them and allowing us to be those change agents. I have found that when things are going really well, it's easy to trust. And the more I trust when things are going well, the more time I spend in my spiritual practice, the more time I spend in connection with my soul, the more I'm willing to do some of the deeper inner work when things out here are going well. When things aren't going so well, it's so much easier to step into that place of trust. If I've done my spiritual work when things aren't going so well, it's so much easier for me to remember that truth, that I am in this divine partnership. That it may look like a 2x4, but that's just an appearance and it's not my truth, right? When we proactively cultivate a partnership with the divine, with whatever you call it, when we do it consciously, consistently, and intentionally, even when things are going great, then when things start to go south, it seems to just be a little easier. So, let me share with you what's ours to do. There's only 4 things that are ours to do. Decide what we want. Ernest Holmes writes, consciousness must be conscious of something. You have to be clear on it. In Proverbs it says, where there is no vision, people perish. Now we all know what we don't want, but it's about knowing what we do want. And then it's about staying consciously in alignment with what we want. Emerson, I love it. Emerson wrote, we must stand the guard. We get to decide. We get to decide. No one else gets to decide for us. We get to decide what we accept as truth and what we don't accept as truth. Dennis Merritt Jones, one of my favorite writers, if you want more of whatever it is you desire, you have to first prove to the universe that you are capable of having it by developing a consciousness that affirms there is no shortage of it. I can't say, I want this, but then look around and see where it's not. Have you ever done, I'm sure everybody's done this experiment, but if you haven't, it's one to add to the list this week. It's like a car, right? You want a new car, and you want that red Mercedes, 4-door. Now all of a sudden, everywhere you look, that car that you thought was so unique, you're going to see nothing but red Mercedes 4-doors. Trust me on this one. Pick anything, be it a color of a house, be it a number, be it anything. Whatever we say, once we put it out there, and we have no strings attached to it, right? I mean, there's no history that says you don't deserve a new car. If you just put it out there, it's amazing how much you see of it out there. That works for everything. Which is why when we do a spiritual mind treatment, one of the key pieces, once we've declared what it is we want, what we know is our truth, is that we be grateful for it in advance. Because you know what? Spirit is already on it. It's already in the ethers taking form. So it's not about waiting. It's about celebrating joyfully, full of anticipation and full of gratitude right now. This moment. And then following the guidance that we get along the way, which isn't always so easy. In Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes writes, the practice of the science mind calls for a willingness to let this inner spirit guide us. Fillmore wrote, to trust spirit, we must know of its guidance and experience. By those who have not learned the guidance of spirit, the experience must be acquired. We have to be willing to acquire this talent of listening, this talent of just being quiet and not always being in action. We must acquire this talent of keeping our own good company with our own soul. We're going to look at this in more detail next week, but think about it. Decide what it is you want. That's the very first step of anything. Because if you can't decide what you want, then you can't be consciously in alignment with it. You can't be grateful for it. And there's no guidance that shows up. So the very first thing we need to do is decide what it is we want. And I'm not talking of the whole enchilada, right? You know, like, I've decided this is what my perfect life looks like, and this is what my perfect day looks like. Yes, we can, but we can start with, okay, this is what my perfect relationship looks like, or my perfect health, my perfect career, my perfect living experience. We get to take a piece and work on that piece. Because what happens is when we work on that one piece, we start to recognize the God qualities attached to that. And then, trust me, it spreads throughout every other aspect of our life. We just have to start getting one right. And everything else becomes lighter. Because I believe there's one more thing we have to do, and that's to let go and let God. And it's assumed that we're willing to do that, but I don't know if that's always the case. To stop mucking in it, digging it up, messing around with it. But instead of digging it up and mucking around with it, sitting in joyful anticipation, making a vision board with it, being at peace with it, celebrating it, experiencing it. Because what we all know is that spirit, that chief spiritual officer, will always, always, with mathematical precision, with no interference, with mathematical precision, will make the way clear and make the manifestation happen. That is what it's really, really good at. We need, I need anyway, to allow time and space for that to happen. To trust, to have faith that providence will move in. And it'll be so much sweeter than I could have ever thought possible. So your assignment this week, and I hope you accept this one, because it's going to be a beautiful summery week, is to just sit in the silence. Get to know your soul at a deeper level. Keep that really good company and allow that inner ear to really tune in. Because that lifelong partner has been waiting for a deeper connection. No matter how deep we think it already is, we can go deeper. And it can be sweeter and clearer and more concise. Your assignment this week is to just take a breath. Just take a breath in the quiet and sit with it. And know that you are breathing in, through, and as spirit. How powerful are we when we remember that? In closing, I want to share something I saw online this morning that just sort of made me pause. Let July be July. Let August be August. And let yourself just be in the uncertainty. You don't have to fix everything. You don't have to solve everything. And you can still find peace and grow in the wild of the changing things around you. This week, let's find that peace within and let's listen to see what's next, because it's going to be so glorious. And that is the truth. And so it is.
It's all about allowing peace within. In absolute surrender, so serenity begins. For when the storm subsided and calm becomes a wave, it's all about allowing it to stay. It's all about allowing love to flow. It's setting down your burdens and just simply letting go. For as you cease to struggle and love pours through your heart, it's all about allowing it to start. Now feel it warm and shining, new with promise, warm, undying love, different than any you have known. And now the seed is sown. It's all about allowing change to show, then living in the moment like it's all you'll ever know. And though it won't be easy, you can truly say you tried, for it's all about allowing it inside. It's all about allowing love to flow. It's setting down your burdens and just simply letting go. For as you cease to struggle and love pours through your heart, it was all about allowing. All about allowing it to start.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Well, now's the time for conscious giving. And you have envelopes at your seats, and you can fill those with your gifts. We know that some of you give online, some of you give through different ways, and you all give through your presence today, and so we're grateful for that. And I'm just going to say a short prayer in gratitude of the gifts. We are conscious of the vast generosity of the Spirit, which provides everything we need at all times and all places. We give back in gratitude for this loving gift of the divine within us. And for that, we are grateful. And so it is.
So it is.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
We are grateful for the gifts, and we are so grateful for the givers. As a gift back to the community, we want to let you know that we would love to give you the gift of affirmative prayer. And if there's anything you would like prayer about, we have a group of practitioners and ministers here that are more than willing to spend some time with you. We also have a box over here if you would like to leave a prayer request and have our practitioners and ministers pray for you over the week. You can drop that there. You can also go to cslminneapolis.org and you can deposit a prayer online, and that will get to us, and we'll spread that around and make sure that that gets the attention of prayer that it so needs. We have practitioners here that are willing to meet with you. We got Celeste, we got Jeff, we got Dee, we got Sue, we got Colleen, Reverend Joanne, Reverend Sherry, myself, Reverend Debbie. Am I missing?
Leif.
Oh, Leif, sorry about that. And so if, just let us know what you need, and we're glad to help. We have a few announcements today, and I'd like to bring up Celeste to talk about her book study.
Okay, hello everyone. We do a book study every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. At this time, we have begun the book by Don Miguel Ruiz called The Mastery of Love. We will not meet this coming Thursday, the 9th, but we will resume on the 13th. For more information, go to our website And if you'd like to contact us at info@cslminneapolis.org. Thank you. I hope you'll join us.
And we'd like to let you know about an event that's coming up in September 29th through 30th. There is the virtual gathering that's going to be presented by the Centers for Spiritual Living, and it's called One Heart. It's a member-focused event to connect you with your spiritual community, Friday and Saturday, September 29th and 30th. There's more information in the back if you'd like to pick up a sheet to get registered for that. And if that's something you are interested in, I definitely think lots of great content coming out from our spiritual community. And Reverend Debbie.
Okay, I am so honored with the presence of two individuals here today. I'd like to invite Mary Ellen to come up. Mary Ellen was part of this community way in the beginning. She and her father have moved to Red Wing, and I think she's got a couple of exciting things to share, at least one exciting thing to share with us. Yes, it's called a birthday. So come on up.
Mine's coming up. His.
We're talking about his, though.
His.
His is a little special.
Yes. Well, we rallied early this morning from Red Wing and going to make a day of it, visit my sister and other things, but definitely wanted to come here and spend some time with folks that provide a lot of sustenance. And last Friday, my dad had his 103rd birthday. And we enjoyed a little trip up to the Metro again, kind of making it count, and enjoyed some time at the Shoreview pool there, outdoor pool, but we also had to make a stop at Mancini's Char House on the way home and have a nice shrimp cocktail and a couple of other cocktails and greeted and things like that with a really nice snifter of whiskey. So, and it all worked out well. So thank you. Yes.
Thank you for being here.
Well, it's the amazing, the continuing life. We've got Bodie over here, who's how old now?
6 months.
6 months into 103, so it's a nice spread for today. Gives me hope that I'm only half through my life. So thank you for coming. Thanks for making the trip up. Well, Reverend John, would you be willing to come up and bless us out, and then we'll have a final song.
Thank you. I'd like to leave you with this blessing. May you be at peace. May you know the beauty of your own true nature. May your heart be open. May you be healed. May you be blessed. Namaste.
Feel free to stand up for this if you feel called to. There was a time in my life I thought I'd have to do it all for myself. Didn't know the grace of God was at hand, was sufficient. Didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go, let it all go. And this is I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only